Hello everybody, this is Michelle Fox and welcome back to The Simple Quilter. Today I'm going to be showing you a new quilt pattern that I've come up with to help use up some of my stash. Now I've picked a patriotic theme just in time for the 4th of July. So I call this an Irish chain with a spin. I've been wanting to make an Irish chain quilt for a long time. I've never made one. So let me show you how I've done this. I'm going to step aside so you can see how this quilt looks semi put together. Now this quilt consists of two basic blocks, an easy 9 patch and a pinwheel and a square. Now you can use any color you want. You can make it scrappy. I just had a piece of blue and this little piece of red, and I actually had these half square triangles made and decided to do something different than I had originally planned. So this is what I've come up with for this quilt. Now, as you all know, I always like to draw my quilts out first. So here's my design, just a basic Irish chain with a little pinwheel and a square. I think it turned out really neat. Okay, let's start with the little 9 patch first. Now the first thing you're gonna cut your strips. And I cut these strips 3 inches. And I simply sewed them together. I sewed them together in 2 different ways. I sewed them together with blue, white, blue, and then I sewed them together with white, blue, white. I just sewed those, pressed them nicely, and then I simply cut these at 3 inches. And I just cut them at 3 inches just like this until I had stacks of them, just like that. You can see the stacks of some of those that I haven't used yet. And that is going to leave you with units that look like this: white, blue, white, and blue, white, blue. So basically what we're going to do, we're going to take our units like this and we're going to simply put them together. The first 2 units. We're going to line those up and those will just nest beautifully. Then I just pin them together again, and as you can see they just nest beautifully. Then I took those to the sewing machine, sewed them, and just gave them a good press. Then I took the next unit, pinned that on, sewed it, pressed it open, and there you have it. Just a very easy little 9 patch. Now these finished at 8 inches, so I squared all of my blocks up to 8 inches. The next block is just a little pinwheel in a square, and let me show you how I did that. Okay, so you just need to find your favorite way to make a half square triangle, and I like to use papers. I can do them individually, so I'm going to just show you this quick way to do them individually. I'm going to use this little ruler. It's called a seam guide ruler. Just going to line that up there, draw my sewing lines, and I started with 3.5 inch squares because I'll trim these 2 triangles down to 2.5 inches. I always make my square a 1/2 inch bigger so that I have plenty of room to trim it down. Okay, so I have those lines marked. Then you're just going to take it to your machine and you're going to sew on those lines. I'm going to take a little ruler, line that right up from corner to corner, and I'm just going to trim those. And I'll take them to the ironing board, give them a good press. Then I'll trim these little corners. And you'll have your half square triangle. Okay, so for my half square triangle, or my half square triangles that I'm going to put in my little pinwheel, okay, you're just going to put them together like that. Pin these two so, pin those two so, press them open, and then you'll sew that top row to this one. To end up with your half square, your little pinwheel using your half square triangles. I'm going to leave this block right here as a little diagram. Now the first thing you're going to do, so these trim down to 2.5 inch squares. Alright, so the next two pieces you're going to need are your 2 inches by 4.5 inch side pieces. And you will just put those together just like this. You'll pin them. Now, not everybody pins, but I do pin. I have a tendency to pin everything. I just feel like it improves my accuracy. And then you're just going to sew your seam on either side and press it open. So then your little unit will look just like this. Okay, the next thing you're going to do, you're going to add this piece and this piece. These are 2 by 8 inches. You're just going to lay those on there. Pin them so they're going to look like this. Sew your little lines, press it open, and it's going to look just like these two. And again, I squared all of my blocks up to 8 inches. So as I assembled this quilt, you can see I just alternated blocks. The pinwheel in a square, the 9 patch, and another pinwheel in a square. This was a super fun and easy quilt to put together, and a great way to use up pieces of fabric from your stash. So there you have it, an easy quilt called Irish Chain with a Spin. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. Please hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you haven't. Please share with a friend. And as always, leave a comment. I love to get the comments and I try to reply to each and every one. So until next time, have fun quilting.